From Jazwares and their amazing Pokemon line, we are now looking at what was voted the single most popular starter in all of Pokemon history, at least according to a fan poll a few years ago. That being Greninja with his battle feature figure. He actually did get a proper trainer select figure a while back. I'm afraid I didn't pick that one up. I should have, and I wish I did. But this is, of course, their gimmick line. Alongside that, we have his pre-evolution, Froakie, and why not, we have a Gibble as well. So, as always, we're going to look at the small guys first, move on to the big guy, and the thing I will point out is, even if he's a gimmick figure, a lot of these gimmick figures can surprise you. So, let's keep an open mind, see if we can get a pretty cool action figure for one of the most famous Pokemon of all time at this point. Looking at Froakie and Gibble first, I'm going to be honest, they've been kind of let down by poor quality control. Gibble looks fine. You can see that some of the paint is oversprayed on his teeth. There are a couple of paint blemishes like on his tongue, but overall, this is a very solid Gibble. My one complaint is I already own this guy several times. They love to pack Gibble in with their other Pokemon, but at least this is still a really solid little static figure. Froakie, however, this is my first time getting my hands on Froakie, and you can see there's really weird white paint all throughout this arm. It looks really bad. Alongside that, there's brown splotches on the hands, and the mouth is mispainted, and there's mispainting around the nose, and the eyes yellow is having blue see through it. It's just rough all around. The sculpt and the pose are great, but this is where I'm going to point this out. Jazwares, I stick by. Amazing company. They're making one of the lines I'm the most popular to find new figures for right now, that being the Jazwares Pokemon line. I'll sing their praises a lot. Sometimes, though, the quality control just isn't there, and this Froakie is really showing that effect. Let's see if his big brother does any better. Greninja is pretty weird. He also has some pretty bad quality control. As you can see, the yellow on his ear, not great. A lot of the white on his knees hasn't been painted thoroughly enough. The yellow on his hands bleed over. Here's the weird thing to me. He has a throwing star in his hand, and it does spin kinda, but not really, and it doesn't come out, and his arms aren't articulated at all. Sometimes on these gimmick figures, they at least get articulated arms, not so much with Greninja. He does have a gimmick, though. So, if we were to pull him back. Whoa, wow, wait, how does this work? Okay, so yeah, you push him back, and then... What? Okay, he is as low as he can go. I mean, he's slowly picking himself up. Is it... Oh, it's frozen now. Oh, well, nope, there it went. Okay. It's a wind-up. Do you hear that gear in it? Okay. So, this time, it's wound up before I put it on the ground. Okay, putting it on the ground. Ah. Is that right? He just fell directly onto his head. If you just want figures to look like, to stay still and look like the Pokemon, these guys are fine. I can't even say that, though, because of the quality control issues. The paint is mismatched on these figures so badly. And if you look past that, though, just for a display, they are serviceable. But I can't get past the fact that Greninja's gimmick just straight up does not work. Everything about this figure was compromised for the gimmick, and it doesn't work. With that in mind, I don't know if I can recommend Greninja. And I don't know if I can recommend Froakie or Gibble either. I think they're fine, and if you just need a Greninja, he's an option. But you have better options in both this line for other Pokemon and for other versions of Greninja as well.